Welcome to Planet Hoax. I am your host, Neal Mitchell.
It might work better if I have a microphone on. So let's start over. Like, I'm doing this live, so I'm not really good at this. I'm not a polished person. I'm just, I'm not even Canadian, let alone polished. I'm an American. I'm born and bred. Anyway, let's recap what I just last 2 minutes. We were discussing the United States' vile attitude about wanting to gun grab and all this other stuff, freaking everything. And since I got Dr.kNO here, being a psychologist, we're going to kind of cut a video that he his address apart, and we're going to find out what's going on in his mind, and man, like I said, and give us your 2 bits in it. We'd be more than glad to listen to you. Anyway, we're looking at this gun grab as being a complete erroneous thing against the Constitution of the United States. There's no president on the planet ever that we've ever had power or authority to completely or even chip it away. Now this guy here, he thinks he has the attitude to by executive order, and it goes so far. I mean, it can't happen. In the state of Texas, Dr.kNO, do you know what the rules are about the federal government trying to disarm Texan citizenry?
Specifically in Texas, I don't know, but shall not be infringed is pretty straightforward.
Well, that's right. And thou shall not be infringed. That almost sounds like it was carved on a tablet somewhere. you know. I mean, it might as well be when you think about it. It's not an 11th commandment, but it's definitely the second amendment. And that's etched in stone rather than paper as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, there was a talk this past week going on about an impeachment process. I don't know if you've heard about that. Have you heard anything about it?
Bits and pieces, but nothing.
And we've got this Paul Rand right now, Speaker of the House. And it seems to me like at this point, after what I've been looking at since all this has been talked about, that he's like on the fence. Have you noticed that what Paul Ryan's doing? I mean, he's acting like a damn lapdog for the president when you look at it. And it's up to him for this impeachment process to follow through. You know this.
It's kind of like John Boehner 2.0.
John Boehner 2.0. That's scary. That's like putting Bernie Sanders in charge of it too. That's pretty scary. Oh man, that's pretty scary. Anyway, I don't know what's really going on with my stream, but I'm trying to figure it out. This YouTube's kind of strange. I've been doing this on Ustream, and it just flows right on through. And here on this one, it's got such a buffer on it, it's kind of throwing me off. Anyway, according to the impeachment process I've got right here, that to do so you have to have it ratified, through the House. But I mean, I don't see Paul Ryan doing that. I don't. And the only reason why is because, like I said, he seems to be like a lapdog for the president at the moment. I mean, there's no teeth involved in anything he's saying when it comes to it. And he should have been the first to speak up if he's actually on the side of the Constitution.
I concur.
I mean, this is something that's been talked about for how long?
I don't even know.
And we have the NRA lobbying for us, right? And for us gun owners and all that, it doesn't seem like they've been doing a very good job of keeping up with even doing pushing an impeachment process every time he tries to grab guns. And now, of course, it's how many months before he's out now? November?
Yeah.
10 months? 9.5 months, something like that?
Literally out, I think, in next January.
Oh, next January, out, yeah. Well, still, I mean, we're still talking about it's going to be an impossible process to go through. Even if he was impeached, from what I gather, let's see right here. Hold on a moment. If they even went to the trouble to send the sergeant of arms in and handcuff Obama as soon as they said he's impeached, you would have the liberal media and everybody screaming and hollering how he's being mistreated and that's not fair, and you'd hear all this stuff going on, and it'd victimize Obama and make him look like he's a poor guy, like he hadn't done nothing wrong. President Nixon, when he was impeached, didn't do hardly anything.
He erased 18 minutes of tape,
he missed,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it really was for nothing. It was just for a break-in. He wasn't trying to shred a constitution and create a caliphate in the United States. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, that's as about as just about as far as that's going to go for me when I'm thinking about a lot of that. And there's my video output's low again, so I don't know what's going on with my video output. I never have liked this too much, but we'll try to figure it out and move through it. Don't make any sense to me. But anyway, going on with what we were discussing, I've already discussed all that, so I'm done with that. So now we got a whole hour left. Well, what's left of the hour to gripe and complain looking at the video. And let me bring this up for all of us out there, if I can get it to move around. And we'll move through it real quick. This is really screwy process here. Bring it up. All right, now I'm going to turn the volume. You hear that all right?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Mark, I want to thank you.
All right, we're going to completely split this apart, and we're going to do it one. I mean, we're going to hear the whole thing. We're going to talk through it, and we're going to stop and have a discussion along the way. If anybody wants to chime in while this is going on, that you sure can, and we'll take your video. If I've lost them, I guess. Let me see if it's still on here. There we go. I love this process. I'm really learning it, and it's pretty interesting. Okay, here we go. I might be able to move through that. Okay. All right, one more time here. There we go. Okay, let's move through this real slow. You can watch it if you want to, Dr. No. Can you see this? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now this is the whole entire speech. It was 35 minutes long. And it just goes through everything, and we'll stop it once in a while. And if you see somewhere you want to stop, let me know,
I will.
and we'll just have something to say about it. So let me bring it over, if I can find the monitor here. There we go. I should be right here on this, and I'll move this over here out of the way, and I'll bring that up. So okay, I'm getting pretty close to figuring this out, folks. I'm not an expert, and I don't have a full entourage doing all my video and everything, so I'm working it pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty good for an amateur. All right. Anyway, let's look at this real close. All right, here it goes. Now y'all can see this, I'm sure, and you can hear it, and we'll see how this goes. If there's an echo, I wouldn't know, so we'll find out.
Introduction. I still remember the time we spent together, and conversation we had about day. And that changed me. And
That's some of his change.
earnestly has 5 years ago this week, a sitting member of Congress, 18 others were shot at a supermarket in Tucson, Arizona. The first time I had to talk to the nation in response to a shooting, or would it be the last? Fort Hood, Binghamton, Creek, Town, Bard, Santa Barbara, Charleston, San Bernardino. Too many. Now, thanks to a great medical team and the love of her husband, Mark, my dear friend, colleague, Gabby Giffords, survived. She's here with us today with her wonderful mom. great medical team, wonderful husband Mark. By the way, the last time I met with Mark, this is just a small aside. I know Mark's twin brother is in outer space. He came to the office. I said, "How often are you talking to him?" He says, "Well, I usually talk to him every day, but call was coming in right before the meeting, so I think I not answered his call," which made me feel kind of bad. That's a long distance call. So I told him if his brother Scott is calling today, he should take it. Turn the ringer on. I was there with Gabby. She was still in the hospital. Didn't think necessarily at that point that she would survive. And that was it. Right before. About an hour later, Gabby first opened her eyes. I remember talking to Mom about that. But I know pain she and her family have endured these past 5 years.
Okay, I got to stop right there. What pain has he really endured?
Yes, is
Where has he been when all the Marines were killed and the families grieving and stuff like that? He would do what? He would pass them up and go do YouTube videos with some gal who's making herself look purple or pink or something in the bathtub.
Would this be the one who was sitting in the bathtub full of cereal?
That might have been it. We're just talking about stupidity, being used, to get a following, and he nixed a family of a fallen service member to mess with that. That's the kind of pain he's been feeling, as far as I can tell in what I've seen. Okay, let's move on.
Effort to cover from shattering injuries. And I think of all the Americans who aren't as fortunate. Every single year, more than 30,000 Americans' lives cut short by guns.
And that would involve things like doctoring reports to fit an agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I see a lot of this going. I see it going that direction, to where they make up a patient's record just on its face to push an agenda. Kind of like what they were doing with the veterans not long ago. If you remember how they were hammering down on the veterans who were mentally ill, they can't have guns, and they were, all this stuff was going on. It was really upsetting a lot of people. Everybody just going around willy-nilly, pretty mad about it all, and it seems like they do this chaotic. We're going to do this, do that, and then it slumps off for a while. Then a little later, they come back with it again, and we're going to do this again, and and freak people out, and then let it go off again. And it's following this up and down cycle, of calm and chaos, and it really warps the mind. I think that's really what may be going on. What do you say about that?
Hard to say. What crosses my mind immediately is, again, the vast majority of veterans are not going to present as a danger. As far as safety with firearms, there are going to be very few people who are better trained to take care of a firearm or use a firearm than a veteran.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of which, I would say the majority, if not all, the Vietnam veterans that are still kicking and living today, who hear all this, they're foaming at the mouth, upset about hearing a lot of it. But if anybody is probably sick to death of killing, it's them. and for them to feel like they're being forced back into it again domestically, it has to be it has to be torturous for them. It has to be torturous for them. And I can see why most of them you see are homeless. You go to the veterans centers, you see them outside laying around all over the place, and nobody's helping them. And these people are out of their mind, they're lost, they have no homes, and you have to think what they went through for our good here in the what we were told was our good here in the United States at that time, and they're being treated like crap. And you saw this past year or so the Veterans Administration being caught lying and cheating, and found out that they were pretty much putting veterans on death lists. And it's all come out. Now there's settlements happening and all kinds of crazy things going on. But, they keep doing this number right here with it all the time. And they hope tomorrow you'll forget. They're hoping tomorrow you'll forget what you're hearing. You forget. And, that's what I see happening. And so he's just going to repeat a mantra and hope you start believing it as being a truth. And this is how they suck you in.
So a lot of our work is people hurting themselves.
Now, so that that's a nice statement. Why would you not want to do that? Obamacare. See, that's just not true. Being dependent on the state is not welfare. It is not good for you.
Treatment for mental health was covered the same for any other. That's why we're going to invest $500 million to expand access to treatment across the country.
$500 million.
It's also why we're going to ensure.
Here's about that $500 million. And you're practicing what you do, you will probably be required through your licensing or whatever to capitulate what they're wanting you to do with your patient, correct?
Don't know yet.
But you don't know. But what is your consensus so far that you feel may be happening?
Feel like kind of still to be announced what's going on. Sure yet.
All right. Would it be fair to say that they're going to try to suck you into tattletelling on your patients?
There are concerns about that now. I've looked into some stuff, and there are some people. It's not the law of the land yet, but there's some people who've been subjected to uncomfortable and what they felt were unwarranted questions.
So it's almost like a scrutiny that's going to hang them or not hang them when it comes to having their rights taken away.
Possibly.
Well, see, that in itself, in its face, is as far as I'm concerned, just the most heinous thing that they could ever imagine going on for these patients. I mean, I can see maybe there'll be the patient that, oh yeah, there's no doubt. And this guy may be a mass murderer just waiting to bust loose. Well, yeah, it may have some good to it. But we're talking about putting people on lists that will be, that be aggregated, through some type of electronic media process, and then put in storage and then used later on for an agenda. And I don't like that. I don't like that a bit. It's like 1984. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy,
That federal mental health records are submitted to the background check system. Barriers that prevent states from relevant information. Continue to stigmatize mental health issues, get folks proper care, and fill gaps in the background check system that will spare more families using a level of suicide. And those in Congress who so often rush to blame mental illness for mass shootings.
Why does Biden look like he's almost ready to cry every time you see him on camera? I'm just asking. He does, doesn't he? It's a perpetual frown. The man has a perpetual frown.
Number 4, we're going to boost gun safety technology. Today, many gun injuries and deaths are the result of guns that were stolen, misused, discharged accidentally. 2013 alone, more than 500 people lost their lives to gun accidents. That includes children younger than 5 years old.
Well, let's back up on that just for a moment. You know, that's a sad case that has happened, yes. But you
It's
know,
just a club at that point.
it's not even that. It's a throwing device, or yeah, a club. It could be a club, but it's just to me it has its purpose. But I only see it on the civilian and military side. It being actual benefit in use in combat or in the streets fighting crime. I can see a biometric or a chipping a type device to disable a weapon being beneficial for that duty involved. I mean, if we have a bunch of guns and they're out in the battlefield somewhere and someone drops a rifle and an enemy picks it up, it won't function. That'll save how many soldiers? You don't know. It could save 1, 2, 3, maybe you dropped it. Who knows? It might save you. So, you know, that's viable. That's understandable. That would be beneficial, but to, you know, I mean, it's just it forced everybody on the planet to have a gun in their hand to make sure they're going to be safe at that point. Because hey, if that gun works for me, it ain't going to work for you. You know. So when I'm dead and gone, what good is the gun? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? I can't hand it down to anybody. Unless my kid cuts my thumb off and takes a drop of my blood or something and uses it. I mean, and this is something else to think about. Oh, you got a gun on your hip. Someone knocks you in the back of the head and they take your gun away and they want to use it, but they can't. It's got biometrics. What are they going to do? Let's just cut these thumbs off or whichever finger is necessary and we'll haul them around. We'll tape it to the gun and we'll walk around and use it. That's what you're going to see happen. I mean, it's asinine in its face to do this to a weapon. That's like, don't put an edge on that knife until you need it.
If there's an app that can help us find using tablet, which happens to be often.
I hear they got apps for the federal government to keep up with you and find you too.
We can do it.
Oh, look, he smiled. Wow.
Your iPad, there's no reason we can't. Stolen gun. Child can't open a bottle of aspirin.
And you can't pick the gun up and save your family's life.
Pull a trigger on a gun. Right?
That's a give and take. If the kid's trained in a home with weapons, he's not going to pick them up and play with them.
Research. Yeah. We're going to work with the private sector, update firearms technology. Some gun retailers are already stepping up by refusing to finalize a purchase without a complete background check, by refraining from selling semi-automatic weapons or high-capacity magazines. I hope that more retailers, more manufacturers, they should care as much as anybody about a product that now kills almost as many Americans as car accidents. At this point, because none of us can do this alone. Mark made that point earlier. All of us should be able to work together, find a balance that wears the rest of our rights are also important. Second Amendment rights are important. There are other rights that we care about as well. We have to be able to balance them. Because our right to worship freely and safely, that right was denied to Christians in Charleston, South Carolina.
They're being denied to everybody in Europe right now, too.
That was denied Muslims in Chapel Hill and Sikhs in Oak Creek.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Why is he even saying that? You know, I mean, what difference does that make? What's that got to do? What does any of that? How about right to freedom of speech and our right to keep and bear arms? Isn't that what we're doing when we exercise our Second Amendment rights?
Blacksburg, Santa Barbara, high schoolers, Columbine, and from first graders, Newtown. first graders. And from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet.
Except all them kids that's lost their families for the caliphate right now. And if they had firearms to protect themselves.
Every time I think about those kids. By the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
Wow. Really? Didn't we just talk about this at the beginning of the show? You know?
So, all of us need to demand a Congress brave enough to stand up. Gun lobby's lies. All of us need to stand up and protect its citizens. All of us need to demand governors and legislators do their part to make our community. We need the wide majority of responsible gun owners to grieve with us every time this happens. Feel like your views are not being properly represented, to join with us to demand something.
Okay, isn't that what we're talking about this whole time? If we are armed, we can protect ourselves. If we're not armed, we can't. I mean, can't we agree on that, Mr. President? No, we can't, because he doesn't want, that's not his agenda. He wants to disarm America because, well, if America's disarmed, we can get ran over just like Europe. And that's what I see eventually happening in here in the United States. It may not be soon. It may be in the short future. It could be a year or two, maybe 10 years from now. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that I believe that is an agenda that is being perpetrated. I mean, we've all seen Obama wearing his Muslim ring, you know, and all this stuff, and he's never taken it off. He's always wearing it. And there's all these pictures of him bound around all these clerics and stuff, all these Muslim clerics, but never did around the Pope. You know, that kind of thing. You know, he doesn't even do this when he does the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, he just stands there. You know, it's obvious his agenda is just to destroy America. He has been put into place to do just that, destroy America, and it is going to continue to happen until we do something about it. Just that simple. By the vote or by the sword, it's going to have to happen one way or the other. I'd like to think it happens by the vote. I don't want to live any time in my lifetime and see it go as far as a civil war. I don't want to see that at all.
Leaders who stand in their way to remember come election time. Some of this is just simple math. Yes, the gun lobby is loud and it is organized in defense.
They want you to believe 2 + 2 is 5. So I don't know what math he's discussing at this point.
What the rest of us all have to be just as passionate. We have to be just as organized in defense of our kids. This is not.
Oh, I am. I'm active and I'm loud about it.
Congress blocks laws is because they want to win elections.
That's all they're concerned about. Keeping themselves in office so they can keep making the money.
Hard for them to win an election.
That's all it's about. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. America, they don't. They don't. As long as they make their money, and that's all they care about. They don't care about those kids that have been killed. They don't care about the ones that will be killed in the future. They don't care.
Yes, it will be hard. And it won't happen. It won't happen during this Congress.
If you're speaking of impeachment,
It won't happen